Hi, I'm Walter D. Donnie Kennedy. I'm Chief of Heritage Operations for the National Sons of Confederate Veterans, and this is Commander's Comment for May of this year, and I am here with Commander-in-Chief Paul Grambling Jr. of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, and we're going to be talking about current events, things coming up, and what has been going on with the Sons of Confederate Veterans with our Commander-in-Chief. Commander Grambling, it's good to have you here with us again.
Good to be back.
Can you tell us a little bit about our recent event at Stone Mountain?
Yes, April 6th, we had a Confederate Memorial celebration at Stone Mountain, Georgia. Of course, those that don't know, the carving of Generals Lee and Jackson and President Davis on the side of Stone Mountain is the largest monument we have to any Southern heroes. But we had a national event there on April 6th. And we had roughly 1,500 to 1,700 people come out to this event.
Right.
It was a great day. There was no problems, some good speeches, some good music, and it was just a good time for Southerners to come together and to stand up and say, we care about these monuments, and you can't have what belongs to us.
And I think that speaks a lot for the Sons of Confederate Veterans, our membership, because these monuments matter, and us taking advantage of events such as you had, it matters too, doesn't it?
It does. It matters. Well, again, it shows the people that want to take down monuments and to eradicate everything Confederate. It shows them that we care about this. We're going to stand up for this and tell them, no, you can't do this. You can't have this. This is our heritage. Leave it alone.
Right. And everybody concentrates on the carved monument, which is just humongous. I think it covers like 3 acres of carving there. But there's other monuments there too around the main monument, and I just want to mention 2 of them that I was very impressed. One was to the killed in action Confederate soldiers there.
Correct.
And it's a beautiful monument and a huge statue, but what got me was it was depicted a young boy, a young man, because most of these Confederate veterans, we think of them as old gray-bearded men. When they went to war, wars are fought by who?
The young
Men. And this
Yes.
was a young soldier, and it shows how he was courageously defending his country. But they also, on the other side of the mountain, they had a monument similar to this to the women of the South. And one of the things that really impressed me right under that monument is the plaque that says, "My country before me." It was the women of the South that really promoted Southern defense and the defense of the South. So those things are very, very important to me, and I'm just glad to see that people are honoring that. But did you notice that while we was there, did you notice anybody angry?
Everybody was in a good mood. Everybody was happy. And, you know, I made a comment about a year ago. As Southerners, we're some of the happiest people on the face of this earth.
That's
Well, I mean, to be Southern and Christian, it doesn't get any better than that.
Amen. Amen.
So we're happy, and we're dealing with people that are perpetually angry all the time.
Isn't that
And
great?
it just it's got to be miserable to have that much hatred and be that angry all the time.
And you hit on something there, hatred. It was, at one time those people condemned the South as being haters. But who are the real haters now?
Well, it's just like intolerance. They accuse us of being intolerant,
Right.
when in fact they are the ones that are intolerant. You know, just like we did a few months ago in our February segments. We are very tolerant of everyone because we include everyone in our organization, just as the Confederate Army did.
Exactly. Speaking of the Confederate Army, I was looking at the grounds there at Stone Mountain, and they have parks, small little parks, little vignettes for each of the southern states. But did you notice they had for the states of Kentucky and Missouri, they had a little caveat in their presentation where they said, in their description of the state, when it was in the Union, when it seceded, and when it was readmitted to the Union, it stated that Kentucky and Missouri was never readmitted because they never actually seceded. Well, that's a half-truth. They did
Right.
secede, but they did so under duress because the federal government
Right.
had invaded the state and pushed
Right.
the people out. So it's very interesting to me to see these, and it brings to mind what America is all about, because in 1776, did not our forefathers secede
Same
from
reason.
Great Britain?
Same reason.
So in essence, what was done in 1776, our forefathers did the same thing.
Well, like I say, if you believe our ancestors was correct in 1776, how can you not believe our ancestors were correct in 1861?
Right, and so many of those Confederate veterans were grandsons, sons, grandsons, a few great-grandsons of the patriots who
Right.
fought the British in 1776. As my twin brother and I always say, the South was right in 1861 because America was right in 1776.
Right.
Well, you notice, Commander, everybody don't agree with you and I about these great monuments.
And they should.
Right, they should. But, you know, one thing about us Southerners, we don't hold a gun to their
No.
head and tell them they have to
We
agree
do
with
not.
us. We respect their right to
Right.
be different if they want to.
We expect their rights to be wrong.
Exactly, they have a right to be
Yeah.
wrong. And but the Southern Poverty Law Center has recently made an announcement that over 110 Confederate-related items had been removed since 2015. Now they was cheerleading for that fact.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is part of the ongoing neo-Marxist campaign against traditional American values. While those Confederate monuments were coming down, the Ten Commandments were being removed. Christmas nativity scenes were being removed. Christian crosses were being removed. So it's part of an ongoing neo-Marxist attack, whether it's Confederate or Christianity. But, you know, they didn't talk too much about what's the positive aspect, what's going on. And in our next section of this segment of this Commander's Comment, we're going to talk about what has the positive things that we in the Sons of Confederate Veterans are doing. And I just want you to kind of touch upon some of the positive things that are being done, and we'll get in more detail because we're running low on time. So just...
Well, we'll be talking about, you know, some things that we're doing across the South. Southerners, SEV members, are doing when it comes to monuments, flags, things like that, and things that we can do. I want to talk about some things that happened 120 years ago that maybe we need to look at and have that much vitality
Right.
and determination to do what was done 120 years ago. And there's things that we can do, and we are doing, to make that come about.
You know, you're talking about the vitality. I'm reminded of General Patrick Claiborne's warning to the South that if we lost this war, that our children, that he was speaking of his generation, that your children, your grandchildren, and future generation of Southerners will be taught the Northern narrative of this war, and they will be taught that our honorable cause was a dishonorable cause, and the veterans were to be objects of derision. Isn't it amazing? In politically correct society today, that is exactly what is happening.
It was like General Claiborne was looking in a crystal ball and saw what was going to happen if such and such happened. This is going to happen.
Right.
And that's exactly what's been going on.
And it's because of members of the Sons of Confederate Veterans and other Southern pro-South organizations that are pushing back that there is a glimmer of hope that the truth will be known. And as we look to the second half of our Commander's Comment for May, we'll be touching upon that topic with Commander Paul Grambling Jr., Commander-in-Chief of the Sons of Confederate Veterans.